briefly tell me about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Syed, for a brief introduction of you.
Mhm.
This is Gaurav Tanwa, and I have around a decade experience now. And I majorly work as a backend heavy roles, majorly on the backend side. But I have a prior exposure on front end tech stacks as well, like React and Angular. So I have prior exposure as a working as a full stack developer as well. And majorly my tech stack is like Java, Spring Boot, Python, Django Flask, Golang, Gin. So I work with all these three technologies. And on the front end side, you can count me for React and Angular. On database side, like I have exposure on both SQL and NoSQL databases. And on AWS side, like I worked with like S3 API Gateway, Lambdas, for the serverless architecture, and for the server-based architecture, I have used uh, this EC2, ECS, Fargate, and for one sort of a data pipeline project, I worked with SQS and SNS. Yeah, this is a bit about the AWS tech stack. On uh, CI/CD side, like I have used Jenkins and Docker Kubernetes for my different products and projects you can think of. Yeah, on a nutshell, like I involved in a majorly in a hands-on coding about 80% or 70-80%, and 20% goes into like taking care of junior, ask their technical guidance and mentoring and helping them with their day-to-day tasks. So this is a bit about my day-to-day role and activities.
Great, great, good to hear about you. So I can see in your resume that you have mentioned you have recently joined one company,
Yeah.
that is in May. So is
Yes.
there any reason you are trying to look for another opportunity?
My reason for being looking for another opportunity at a very short span of time is my current org major tech stack is in a Microsoft .NET technology, and my prior experience is not aligning with that. I was earlier I was thinking like it will be another good tech skill under the belt, but I tried it out for a couple of months, but it is not working as I was thinking. It's more comparable to Java Spring Boot itself, but it's more or less
All
not going with my current tech stack.
understood, understood. All right. So Gaurav, could you please just share your screen so
Yeah,
that
sure.
we can start the technical discussion? In the meantime, let me just share the entire screen.
Is it
All right.
visible?
It is visible. Okay. So in the chat, let me. Could you please close all the other tabs except this one, interview one?
Yeah, let me just open a new window. Yeah, that would be fine. Are you
No,
able to?
just yeah. I can see your screen. So just keep this window only, and
Yeah,
rest of them you can just close, which are not required.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I just have this tab now. Let me. Where is the chat? Okay.
Okay. So mhm. All right. So let's start with the problem solving skill first,
Hmm.
and let it load it first. So I believe, as per your introduction, I believe you are very good at Java and the backend side, and then
Mm,
secondary skills you have the front end part,
right, right.
right? Okay, great. Okay, so let me give you a couple of. Okay, let's have this problem first. So I'm just pasting one. So I have gave you one screenshot over the chat. Could you please open it? I will explain you the problem statement.
Okay.
So uh, yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So the problem statement is consider you are making ab- uh, a function which is basically will going to return the least uh, fare that a particular user will going to be uh, affording when
Mm-hmm.
booking a ticket. So and the ticket system is something which will going to be uh, issued in the form of passes. Basically D is for the day, 1 day, that will be
Okay.
$2. For week that will be $7 for week. Week means 7 days. And for month it will be 30 days, that will be $15.
Okay.
So the okay, so the question is whatever you, for suppose you are given to a function that is 31 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 31 days, how this minimum amount could be calculated, that
Okay.
will be uh, one 15 days pass and one 1 day pass. uh, so that 31 days could be done with that.
Right.
So
77
that is
into,
$17, right?
yeah.
So
1 week, 7 days. Okay, got it.
mhm. So
So,
co-
what should be the output for this?
yeah, I'm just sharing the example.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you please open the chat again?
Yeah, I'm on a chat window. Okay, if we are passing,
Have you another monitor also connected?
no, I haven't. Let me check. Like, I have shared the entire screen or just the tab.
Yeah, please do.
Application. Yeah, I have shared the entire screen on. Okay. Yeah. So we were discussing this.
So can you go to the chat section? I can explain you once again.
Yeah, sure.
Just close this.
Is it visible, chat window?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is the example. Right? Hello.
But yeah, I cannot see your other screens.
Uh, so let me.
So this is the output I'm saying. So this is how the output would look like if you have 31 days. That means one 15 days pass, that will be monthly, counting 30 days, and one single day pass, that is one. So that will sum up to be $2 plus $15, that's $17.
Mm,
So
okay,
the
got it.
okay, so the result will print the total and
Mm-hmm.
the combination of the passes.
Mm, total cost, minimum
Understood?
cost, and the number of passes which will be used. So
Right.
here
Right.
we are using one monthly pass and one day pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Right.
This number is signifying that only one and
Mhm.
one. Okay. And should I assume, where was that
Yeah.
question?
So
Like,
assuming means every month will have 30 days.
yeah. So this cost part will be the same for, or it's a one time constant thing, or it may change for a different.
Yeah, the quantity could be anything. You can take 2 days, 4 days, or
Yeah,
weekly 2 week pass, or monthly 2 months. Like depending, if I'm giving 60 days, that could be done with two monthly passes.
right.
If yeah, that. That's how it could be.
Yeah, so these $2, $7, $15, this all
They will be
will
fixed.
okay.
Hmm.
And I can assume like if it's like I need to make it if I purchase a monthly, not a monthly
Mhm.
pass, but on a daily basis. So it will be always greater than the weekly and monthly pass, like $2 into 30 for a 1 week. We should consider
It's
that.
yeah, it's depend upon you how you write the code, so that it bring out the minimum, like minimum amount that a particular customer going to be spending,
Okay.
least amount. Yeah. So go to open that code section and just try to solve this puzzle.
So the very first observation I was able to make from there is like first thing what I can do. Uh, so yeah, solution. So we can have a integer daily pass price that is 2 and weekly pass price that was $7 and monthly pass price that was $15. And here we will be getting a integer number of days, and we need to, let's say, just printing out everything, not returning anything. That would work.
Yeah, that will work.
Okay, just point it out this part. So, so firstly, what we will do, we will like considering number of days, month, that is 30, and number of days, that is obviously not changing, but I'm keeping it handy.
Yeah, it will be fixed.
Yeah,
37 one.
yeah. So firstly, we will be checking like number of passes for number of how many number of weekly passes are possible, or how many number of monthly passes are possible. Monthly passes possible, so that we can get number of days divided by the mm, number of days in a month. And then we need to update our number of days with the whatever is remaining, so we can write it down as with the model operation. And weekly passes will be like the number of days left after the previous operation divided by the number of days in a week. Yeah, that's it. Then we should update the number of days again with the modulo of number of days. And finally, we can say daily passes equal to number of days that will be equal to that only. And let's just print it out. Just out the print line. Uh, Minimum cost we need to find first. So to find the min cost, what we will do, hmm, this monthly passes into uh, price for the monthly pass, it pass price, and then weekly passes into weekly passes price, and finally daily pass into daily pass price. This is the, you can say, minimum cost. And the of pass is required. Passes. Okay. So, okay. I was just thinking a generic statement like in case no monthly pass is required, then number zero, or you just want like just print the statement where that particular pass is actually getting purchased.
The only actually purchased part will be required.
Okay. Then in that case, we need additional conditionals actually. If monthly pass is equal to greater than zero, so purple. It should be exact this same, or
Sorry, I didn't got your question.
so I was just saying like it should be exact match, or like a word can be anything.
No, no, word can be anything. That's not a problem.
Okay,
Uh,
value should
the
be
quantity,
correct.
yeah, the quantity should be and the amount should be as per the problem
Okay,
statement.
but yeah, that's right. Monthly passes. Yeah. I need to do this weekly. Yeah. So I just added a boundary condition check over here for the
I got
negative number of days and
it.
days which is equal to 0.
All right.
Rest it should be able to cover.
All right.
Should I run it somewhere or
Just press the run button.
okay? Cannot find symbol. I did some sort of a typo. Number of days in a week. Got it. Should check it somewhere here. Okay, looks fine now. Weekly past price line number 25. Okay, it's capital. Weekly. This is also a typo. Daily solution. Okay. Class is also solution. Uh, I need to create the solution.
All right. So it's printing some outputs.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just not
Okay.
write.
So just quickly, can you go through the logic and then we can proceed?
Yeah, sure. So what I have identified initially in this
Mm-hmm.
is like, what if we somehow able to see like number of cause for now, say for this output, uh,
Mm-hmm.
not for this one. Slash bar.
Yeah, that's fine. Just with a random value,
Yeah.
just
For
try run.
seven, for
Mm-hmm.
seven, say,
Mm-hmm.
for a number of days, seven. So if I consider a daily price, so I need to pay $14. And if I pick for a weekly pass, then I just need to pay $7. So the weekly pass is should be the minimum price in that case. And
Mm-hmm.
if similarly compare it with some monthly value, which is having number of days more than 30, then first I should try to purchase the monthly pass, which I'm doing over here. Then I
Mm-hmm.
try to left number of days for a weekly pass if it is possible, say 32 days. So for 30 days I can purchase a monthly pass, and for 2 days, if say think of a 38 actually, and that will cover all three logic. So first I'll try to purchase a monthly pass for the first 30 days. Then for the rest 8 days, 1 week is there, so I'll purchase a one weekly pass. And then for a one left day, I need to purchase just mm, a number of days passes. So one was there, then it should be one. If it is five or a six, then five or six.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, this is how I'm considering, like, first try to purchase the monthly passes. So it, because it is cheaper, then go for the number of days left with the weekly passes. Then finally,
So can you just quickly tell me on the line number 20 and 21? At one place we have divided, at one place we have modulus.
yes.
So
So by dividing, I'm just getting the number of unit of that particular thing. So in
mm-hmm.
case of a month, I'll be getting number of month I can get. And
Mm-hmm.
by modulo, like after dividing, say 32 by 30, so the remainder part I'm trying to fetch.
Great. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So this is how, because once I'm done with the dividing, then I need the leftover days. So that's why I perform the modulus operation after each
Mm-hmm.
quotient operation. You can think of division operation.
Okay, great. All right. So let's move to another section. So as you have a good amount of experience, you must be having the exposure in uh, creating robust applications also, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay. So I suppose I'm a product owner and I'm asking you to create a application, basically a traffic, a high level design. Just I'm asking for you to architect
Mm-hmm.
a high level design for a particular requirement, that is, uh, you are creating an application which is of traffic fine system. That traffic fine system is going to be used by government, traffic police, as well as the end user. And
Okay, so you are saying traffic fine
mhm,
system.
mhm.
Okay, challan system sort of.
Yeah, sort of, you can say. So basically that will going to be used by two different parties, that is
Government.
yeah, government, police, as well as uh, end users. And the vehicles will be registered on the portal,
Vehicle
and
owner or
every
user.
day new vehicle are getting registered, so those also has to be incorporated.
Mm.
And
So we will be using this uh, system to register the new vehicle as well.
yeah, that provision we will be having.
Okay.
So you just design a very high level, basically how the approach you will take, what database, what other resources you will going to take.
Okay.
So mhm,
So before jumping to the different component, I'm just considering like different functional requirements. So
mhm,
list down the all challans available for a vehicle ID,
mhm,
available for vehicle ID, and by vehicle ID I'm saying it's a registration number only.
yeah, registration number.
User should be able to register the vehicle, like adding, or government bodies also can use this to add new vehicles.
Mhm.
Uh, and I should be able to pay my challan from there.
Yeah, challan, end user can pay the challan, as well as there will be some due date. Upon expiry of the due date, the challan will going to be fined more.
Okay,
The like
penalty, more
penalty
penalty.
will be applied.
Pay challan from me. And government bodies can use this system, issue new challans,
Mhm.
and send reminder should be there, like
Yeah, that will be good to have.
send reminder for non-paid. And okay, after due date, there would be penalty of say 20% first. Configuration part I'm not concreting over here because it's
Mhm.
majorly HLD part. So I'm just leaving those details as a gray, like how much time I would borrow after one penalty, or what
Yeah,
should be
that's
the
completely fine. Yeah,
yeah
that's completely fine.
non-function requirements. Like uh, system should be highly available,
Yeah.
consistent. Like if I'm using more than one devices for my user, and then I'm paying the bill from or a challan from one device, then it should get reflected in a consistent way to the all other connected devices, or system should be compliant with the ACID properties, I would say, because
Right.
we will be like working in a transactional, a distributed transactional manner actually.
Mhm.
Highly available and fault tolerant. as well. That is a sub part of a highly availability only, uh, by adding replications and all. So should be able to handle some sort of cyber attacks and rate limit the pet users. Yeah, these are the basic non-functional requirement I should be able I'm able to think.
Hmm.
But there can be many more, but all those should be the uh, sub part of these major ones. And estimations I would be needing. So user base or daily active users, if if you can help me with that number.
Yep. So active users would be in like 50 millions. Initially, it will be going to roll out
50
to
million.
in the
So
first
that is
phase. It will be going to
50.
roll out for 10 states. Once
Mhm.
that is completed successfully, it will be widened toward the entire nation.
Okay.
And the
So initially it's 50
so
lakh,
with
but
the
it
users,
can.
yep, with the users, it will be the vehicle IDs only.
Okay. Uh, Vehicle IDs. So you are saying initially we will have a say 50 lakh sort of vehicles. And
But that will be going to be every day. Some new registration will be happening,
correct.
so that will be increasing also.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
in a current scenario of India, I would consider then and that can reach to 20-30 CR. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that was these many vehicles I'm considering. This may be the very low number, or for the safer simplicity, I would consider 50 CR. That's more or less
Mhm.
more. 40% or 30% of the entire population of India. So I'm considering India in the picture as of now. Is that fine?
Yeah, that will be fine.
Okay. So daily active users, actually the vehicle IDs. So I'm just considering one user is mapped to one device, not
But
more
that,
than.
yeah, that could not be the case. One user, basically, one person could have more than one vehicle. So one to many relationship could be possible.
Okay. One user can have multiple.
And the user could be identify, let's suppose, with their driving license.
Okay. Driving license can be the unique identifier. Okay, keeping that in mind. Hmm. hmm. Initially, we have 50 lakhs user and say on an average, say 10,000 new registration on a daily basis. Is that a fine assumption, or it will be more?
Yeah, it will be fine. 10 or 20,000.
Okay.
It can
Yeah.
vary.
Yeah. 20K new registration per day. So this is and number of challans, let's say uh 10% of the user base is a bad driver. So I would consider 50 lakh to the 5 lakh challans are getting issued on daily basis, and it can be more as well. So that number will increase. 10 lakh user daily challenge. So at least 10 lakh user may see 20 lakh. Let's take a bigger number than 20 lakh user actually listing the number of challenge for them. And say due date of around 50% of them is there on that day. So 10 lakh payment user are possible. So this is a pay traffic. This is challan creation traffic. This is listing traffic. So in all those things in my 20 new registration, no users and okay. So hmm, to achieve this sort of a concurrency, how many user per second are actually listing? So 20 lakh is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 24 hours. In 24 hours, there are these many minutes and these many seconds. So I can cut down this by 20 factor. I can cut down to 20, 20. So let's just use a Kelsey. 10 divided by 24 divided by 36. So it's around 2 requests per second, but that's not a fair assumption because a request is not fairly distributed. So I can multiply it with the 2 because in a daytime listing traffic will be high or usually in some particular span of time. So uh,
Mhm.
10 requests per second should be the listing traffic and 5 requests per second for the current scenario I'm taking. It can vary and yeah, new registration 20K, so that is not very huge number. So it will be around 5 requests per second only. So the basic component, these are the like estimations I was able to see,
Mhm.
and I don't see like, so do we store like driving license or RC of the vehicles somewhere into our system, or we are just taking care of this challan system and all, and not storing any multimedia sort of a thing?
No, no, we are storing those information as well. So
Okay,
it's a application which having the relationships between
yeah, got it.
users vehicle and as well as their licensing.
Okay.
Otherwise how the fine
Yep,
could be avoided.
vehicle can have a RC and driving license, right? And I'm considering a very basic thing like a 1000 KB per document, and we can have like how many driving license we can have 20K new RCs and 50 lakhs we already have, so 1 CR, that is 3 5, 6, 7, 8. This KB, and if I divide it to MB, so it will go to like this. Uh, this much GB, then again divided by 1000. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm not dividing it exactly 1024. I'm just dividing it by 1000 just to get a rough estimation. So 1, 2, so 100 GB storage we would be requiring. GB storage for RC and 100 GB for driving licenses, and it can increase or boost to 1000 GB, 10,000 GB in a near future. So to store that, I can use some sort of a object storage, which is cheaper and available. So I would say S3, AWS S3 should be good for here. And I can create a mapping of that. So database side, I need to store database related information in a ACID compliant. So as we are a transactional in nature, so I would say, should I use a ACID compliant? Like for a payment thing, that uh, makes sense. But I'm not doing payment on my system. I'll be using some sort of a payment gateway, so that would be transactional in nature. My challan system is like if I added a challan, then it should get it consistent. So yeah, challan data can be ACID compliant, is transactional in nature, but demographic or RC driving license data, we can store it in some sort of a NoSQL and S3 to better horizontally scale. So should I keep using this Sublime only, or should I switch to some drawing tool?
If you have handy, you can go, and otherwise, it's fine.
Okay. Because for the documentation part, I generally use this thing, but
Mhm.
after estimations, so now I know that like this much uh, S3 storage or this which sort of a databases it would be
Mhm.
required based on the application nature. So I think I can now jump to say Pro.io. So here my user will be actually interacting with uh, the- Then I can use
So a user could be of two type. One is the government official, one is the end user who is going to pay the fine. So
right. In both the cases, we should route them via API gateway because we will be needing some sort of a authentication mechanism for both.
mhm.
Yeah. So user role should be there, like authority or hmm, or role based oath we can have, and different say admin service user service, but these should be behind some sort of a load balancer. Why I'm saying a load balancer is required? Because we can have multiple application like this. So we will different users, type of users will be government body and everything. So how they actually interact and it pass the request to, or instead of having a single load balancer, we can have a load balancer per service. Yeah, that's a better idea. Okay, have one load balancer and the service load balancer and API gateway will route the traffic uh, based on user level, and load balancer will some sort of using for initially I'm saying like it may be using a round robin routing algo, like number of nodes available in the cluster and just distributing the load accordingly.
All right.
And on the database side, I can see I'll be using one SQL database, sort of PostgreSQL, to store the information related to the challans. Okay. And I can have NoSQL database, which is actually having demographic information of the user
Okay.
and other details like RC and all. So different data store I'll be using. That is a cloud one. So I should use something.
And how will you scale this,
um,
the database part?
Yes, yes. Hmm. So AWS S3 we can use to store RC and images, multimedia part basically. And we will be using that bucket link in either in while I'll be designing this. So I guess here I'll be using mainly with this. How
Mhm.
it can scale better. So NoSQL is a horizontally scalable. That's a known fact. So we can
Mhm.
add more number of node when required.
Okay.
Uh,
So you have separated admin services and user services.
yes.
So how will you communicate between those two services if in the requirement
Yeah.
it will
So
come?
admin services is basically taking care of like a new registration and uh, I'm not able to think another operation as of now. And on the user service, I'm able to see like what all the challans are available for a user.
Mhm.
If user want to pay for a challan, then those sort of a functionality user should be able to see for himself. On the admin side, on the other hand, we will be having just adding new user or a vehicle or a registration and creating new challans for the user. So all the challan data is there in a SQL and it's a transactional. So that's a good part. And with the current load, it is able to handle that much traffic very fairly in a PostgreSQL. But
Mhm.
what if it's in the near future, it should be able to handle that or not. So at that time, what I would suggest, like partitioning the data based on so different strategies are coming to my mind, like related to sorting the data. One is like yearly partitioning the data, but that comes with a price, like a uh, uh, different states have a different number of users, and small scale or a small number of user state will suffer or starve because of other states. So that will actually impact a lot. So our system is not isolated in that sense. So
Mhm.
another strategy that coming to my mind regarding to partitioning and sorting the data is to sort the data based on different states, so that if something goes wrong with a one node or a one side of a particular state, then it will not impact the whole application. So small shards I would suggest.
And is there any scope of implementing the caching mechanism also here?
Yeah, that should be there. Shards for different states. Yeah, I was about to come. Okay. So I just added a one, so it can be mm, more than this. This can have more many shards. So caching, yeah, caching where it should be applicable. While creating or adding a clan, we don't require caching, but user cache can be there to store the most recent challan data related to a user so that we don't have to go to the different database services at the same time to get the data so that we can defer some sort of a load to this our user cache. And eviction policy here, I'm thinking would best work for us is TTL based or LRU based. So in the TTL base, both more or less are a spatial based eviction policy. So uh, TTL of 1 day would work for a user case, and LRU will also helpful if TTL based eviction is not working for us in this particular scenario. So should I use some sort of a CDNs as well? Mm, as of now, I think it's good to have a basic infra with a
Mm-hmm.
a microservice based application cluster for admin service and user service. And if we need to support other things like notifying the user and other things, then I would say what we will be needing basically um, some sort of a service, notification service to notify or remind the user to pay their challans, and how it should function. So it's sort of a nightly job or a nightly service which will actually run in the non-active hours uh, to send out the notification so that it will not hamper the current operations of the system. So it will run nightly and prepare some sort of defaulters, or I would say, and the user who actually didn't pay and pay their challans,
Mm-hmm.
challan
All right.
queue. And why
Okay.
I'm considering it as a queue is say so that we can support multiple uh, channels.
Mm-hmm.
Say I want to send the just SMS or a email or a post notification. So challan queue can have a challan queue reminders actually, and these reminders we can use to populate channel based queues, and that's I'm just increasing the scope of the ticket over this discussion over here. So like channel based like SMS or I would say, oh,
Mm-hmm. So could you do me a favor? Can you just design the API part for this notification services?
for the notification.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it basically not API because user is not directly getting communicated to this. It's a internal
Internal,
service.
yeah, for internal services, the
Mm-hmm.
developer will going to be integrating with the application.
Okay.
So that part.
My assumption was that we will be just fetching the data on the nightly basis from the databases and
Okay,
check.
so let me rephrase the question. Let's suppose we are going to uh, show some statistics.
Okay.
So for that, just checking which state perform well, that
Mm.
that sort of. So Is there just design the APIs for that so that those APIs could be consumed.
Got it. So currently we don't have any insight related service into our system. So first, I would say like we should have this admin service can extend, or we can have altogether a different service like insight service, which will basically uh, APIs for insights. So APIs for insights will be like hmm, for all stats and for specific stat. But that really matter. So I'm assuming like we are just trying to get the stats, not trying to add the stats, because creating a stats is
Those
a
those will be internally getting created based
yep,
on the
yes,
data which will be going to
correct,
accumulate.
correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, so sure. My assumption was that only. So we will be just exposing a get to get the insights. Okay, Chalan. And here, if we are not specifying a state ID, then like it can have a two flavors with state ID, without state ID. Here, get state specific data, get all states data. Okay. Should I consider something else? Because we can have mm, so many records, but how do we actually pull it
So
in?
how the schema would look like in the database?
Yes, yes, yes. I was just thinking like, should I use a, uh, should I limit or add some sort of a pagination as well? Because this inside data can be useful mm, to show the information.
Yeah, pagination will be a good option.
Yeah, then I was thinking like, if we are drawing some sort of a graph or a pie charts, then that's like we should have all the data. So another thing, it's not uh, actually pays and limit. So I just added the pagination. I don't think I will be using. So here I'm assuming a list of so data, and that list can have like state name. Now, okay, should I use the state name directly, or we can have like state name? Another field we can have the data. And fields can be like from say some specific date 2024 01 and 2024 and 01. So from and to can be the like if we are not passing that, then we will be like assuming getting the data for the current month. So data would be like we will be like representing the aggregating data or the individual challan information as well.
So we both I believe should be there, both. And
Okay.
one thing I would ask, so these data which will going to be uh, coming from the first stage when the data is getting organically generated, so
Mm-hmm.
you would be storing those information, like when you are retrieving this information, you are storing it to some place, or directly you are accessing those
No,
resources.
no. So like when I'm saying like I need a insight for this particular date, so
Mhm.
there are two ways to solve it. Like at the runtime, we run all the sequels and mm, create the insights data at the runtime. Another is like we run a nightly job and store it in a insights DB. So that
So
will save us computation actually.
you mean cron job kind of
Yeah, nightly job or a cron job.
okay.
The drawback of that is you will be wasting something unnecessarily computation uh, if some user are not actually actively using the data.
But
But
it will be
that computation
one
will
day
be
delay. I
yeah.
believe in this case of scenario, one day delay will be there for the actual insight of the data which we are getting from these APIs, isn't it?
If I consider the today's date, so to get the aggregated data for the date 30th, we should wait till midnight because till that date we have all the information into our system. And I guess
Hmm.
if we are allowed to that particular delay, then it's good. If we really want that particular date of data, then we can anyways use this. And if data is not there, then we can prepare it at the runtime and ingest into our ingest insights DB at the runtime.
And how would you rate limit the APIs?
So yes, so rate limiting I would be doing so uh, it's a user wise a rate limiting. So we should have some sort of a subscription model. I don't think it's feasible in our current scenario.
Mhm.
So like as I closely worked with the API AWS infra, so AWS API gateway itself give us a rate limiter, user-based rate limiter, so we can leverage along with the authorizers from the AWS itself. So
Mhm.
at the API gateway level, we can introduce our rate limiters.
Yeah, let's assume if we do not have that provision, then.
Then rate limiter, we need to extend our functionalities at the services level itself or the load balancer level. So we have to introduce that thing uh, mm, uniquely identify a user based on the UIDs and
Mhm.
storing it and keeping the session information like a number of API requests in particular time span. And if it exceed that particular limit, then we should throttle those requests. We should not permit those requests.
Okay.
And
So
like
would you go with REST APIs or GraphQL?
So REST would actually beneficial over here because I don't think we have a same
It's not
resolved
audible.
by.
Yep. Yeah, the last part, can you repeat once?
Yeah, sure, sure. So I was saying REST is enough over here. GraphQL is useful when we have a same endpoint and different type of user and a different or fields are getting resolved from a different data sources. It
Mm-hmm.
if that sort of a APIs I would eventually able to find into my system, then yeah, GraphQL is a better choice there because uh, if I have a API which actually hypothetically I'm considering Insights API, not Insights, Chalans API. So Chalans API may be getting used from Get Chalans admin as well as a user, but
Mm-hmm.
admin have more fields in comparing to the user field, user service. So in that or a user so in that sense, if we are resolving few fields from here and few fields from S3 and few fields from NoSQL, and then GraphQL is useful because GraphQL comes handy or a rescue to you when you have different sort of or a set of user and different set of fields which are actually getting resolved from more than one data source. But
Okay.
if we are majorly using a single data source, then it doesn't really boost up or help with the performance actually.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Mm. Okay. So, so you have on Java side, which version you have recently worked upon?
So lastly, I was using mix of Java, a few my services was in Java 8 and few were in 11.
Mm.
We recently haven't moved to this Java 17 or 21 because of the nature of the community support actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Uh, Very quick code snippet. I'm just pasting. Can you go back to that window? Yeah. Okay. So, mm, all right. So, could you please just comment out everything, and or let me do it for you? All right.
Yeah, it's connected now.
All right. So, I'm just pasting one code snippet. Could you please just help me with the output?
For I zero, okay, conditional check is so it should be blank.
Hmm.
This may not get executed, but I doubt because here it is saying zero is should be the falsy one. So that's why I'm saying it should not print anything.
All right. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Let's move to front end section. So you have worked upon front end technologies as well as you earlier mentioned. So
Not
which framework?
very recently, but
Mhm.
priorly 3 4 years back, yeah, I have used React actually.
Okay, okay. So you were a part of the development of the front end team, or you were just supporting the juniors?
So I worked on a couple of components.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
but
which React version it was you have?
I am vaguely not able to recall actually. As I told you, like I
Mm.
very less or worked on a front end side. Yeah, so very great thing about the React is its virtual DOM
Mm.
and fast rendering, which actually comes out of a box with the React because of this virtual DOM thing. So in normal languages, there is a no virtual DOM concept. So whenever we have some update in the HTML tree or a DOM, then whole page will get rendered, and that rendering cycle is very costly, and that is not very performance efficient. But what actually happen in case of virtual DOM? So it do a incremental comparison within incremental comparisons actually with the previous version of the DOM and the current version it will be having after performing some operation, and it just reflect or recreate or repaint that particular DOM part, so that it can leverage better from the browser rendering cycles. So this is in a nutshell makes the React more efficient and performant actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mhm. So you mostly have worked upon the backend side. That's why in the front end side, that's
Yeah, front end side, I know bit and pieces.
mhm. Right.
Yeah,
No
like
problem.
the hooks and
So
how they are actually getting. I
have
can
you?
write the code as well, but that will require me the googling couple of syntax
Yeah, that's
actually.
completely fine. No problem. Uh, uh, have you used any other libraries in front end, or
Uh,
just
like
like?
React, we generally use Axios. We use to connect to the to
Mhm,
make HTTP call to the backend or to the integrations,
mhm.
and npm we use for package managing as we use nvn and others in backend side for the java and
So in the React only,
mhm.
there are multiple life cycles, right?
Yes, yes.
So in functional component, those life cycle methods are not there. So how we deal with those in functional component? In this interview, like anything in this, if you want to ask, I can help you with that.
Yes,
Otherwise,
so on
I will.
that
Yeah,
part, what sort of the improvement areas would be for me?
yeah, yeah. That I will. I'm sure I will. I'm just coming on to that point. So let's conclude that. Uh, okay, so as you have very good amount of experience and you are very good in problem solving skills as well, and the broad picture you have for designing the application, gathering the requirement, that's perfect. So I would say, yeah, very healthy and good conversation we have. So I would suggest you to try to focus on the front end side also, so that you become the full stack kind of. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So that, yeah, that was my observation.